Welcome to Pull the Pin Ready, a place you're guaranteed to get a veteran's opinion about the world we live in. I'm Jim, and joining me again,
Hello, this is Jace here. We are going to give you our opinions, whether you like it or not. But it is an honor and just an amazing, cool thing to introduce what I am. It's an honor just to call him a friend of mine, Mr. CJ. And it's an honor to have him here. And it's more of an honor just to be able to call him an actual real friend of mine. And he is also an Army veteran as Jimbo Tron himself.
well,
Boom,
welcome,
let's go.
CJ.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jace could be a little long-winded sometimes. Long, slow-winded. But anyways, before we get into anything we're going to talk about, we do our normal shout-outs to our two viewers that we have, loyal viewers, Chris and Johnny. I know, Jace, you've been dialoguing or something.
Hey, what up, brother? Johnny, I I try to check by Wednesday what y'all have wrote because you don't need to be writing that stuff for no reason, and we all appreciate it, and I did respond back a few times, and thank you, keep doing it up, Chris or Kate or whatever the hell her name is.
Dude, stop.
I know it's good. It's the fact that she didn't respond, and I wanted to respond to both of them. So
Yeah, well, Chris is usually a little late.
just for that, no garden plug today.
No
Nope,
garden.
done.
Ooh, no garden plug
You're
today.
you're you're done.
That's
You're
probably because
done,
your
baby
garden's
girl.
all dead. All right. Well,
So what's
did
going on,
CJ?
boy?
Did you want to say anything because nobody knows you, or do you want to just
Oh,
bypass that and get into the thick of things?
I could give a little brief. So, as my buddy said there, I'm an Army vet. I've done 3 tours in Iraq. I did one in Afghanistan and one in Somalia. I was injured during my last tour, so I medically retired with 100%. And I know firsthand how to navigate the VA system to maximize benefits because I've had to do it myself, and I use all the education and veterans preference to land a pretty good gig on the civilian side of things. So, well, I love the fact that I'm on this podcast, and I love the fact that you're doing this, especially if it's subjects that veterans care about, because obviously we're a small community. We're 1%.
Yeah,
Oh,
just so you know, CJ, in case you didn't see, we started this back in the I guess the COVID era. Um, when we started, we was a little concerned about too many veterans just hiding out in the garage, not really interacting because we all know how that works when you get off active duty and your community disappears. So we wanted to give veterans a place to go to vent and everything. We've talked about a lot of politics and just general world stuff mostly because it seems to be in our face these days. We do try to bring in some veteran related stuff. We'd love actually to have an extra episode, something that you might be a subject matter in and maybe down the future we'll add that in to give people value. But right now it's really just turned into me and Jace talking to Chrissy and John.
yeah, pretty much just rattling off, man.
Yeah,
But I
My friends, because this is too important.
yeah,
oh, it's fun. It's fun to just have a little coffee hour and talk about current events. But one special part of the episode tonight, we need to put that in the headlines. I'm going to go over the pay increase for COLA, the VA increase for veterans with disabilities, the rate increases. So, but we're not going to do that right now.
no,
I
right,
think
because
we have a lot of other crackers to talk about.
crackers.
If you know what I'm
What?
talking about.
We're a panel full of crackers. What else could you have to talk about?
Well, I was just, I mean, I don't, have you guys, I mean, we did discuss this last episode, but, you know, Cracker Barrel has now decided, oh, we're going to go back to the old logo. We're going to go back to all of it because we 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 lost over 700 fucking $1 million. So
Yeah.
we're going to go back. And it's like, you should have never switched to begin with, you woke ass fox.
Yeah, I think it's important too, and I think from our perspective, we probably need to get away from things like saying they folded, they bended the knee. I think that's condescending. when actually
I'm
they
not saying that.
wanted to, though. No, I see a lot in the
Right.
media talks
Right.
about that because we all knew it was a dumb idea, and I'm not really going to be too hard on that lady because maybe she really thought she was doing
No,
something good because somebody told her.
my
But
whole yeah. There you go. There you go. My the whole point of me bringing this up was I know you know who BlackRock is,
mhm.
and I don't know. I'm not as familiar with Vanguard, and there's another company, but these are the major stockholders in Cracker Barrel that influenced her to try to change it because they're very liberal organizations, and that's all I'm gonna say about that because I found that very interesting.
Yeah, you don't. Do you remember? See, I don't know. Do you got Cracker Barrel? You a Cracker Barrel loyalist there?
No, not really. But
I,
hey, I will say the woke culture has perforated through all the fibers of America right now. And my only, take on that is they want to rebrand, they want to file Chapter 13, Chapter 11, fine. I just don't want to hear about any government payouts or bailouts.
Mm.
Because as long as
true
we have,
that,
as long
true
as we
that,
have
man.
veterans living under bridges and living on the streets, they better get their
And
piece before corporate
and
America gets a payout.
and one of the decisions I think that put the icing on the cake for them to go back to it is Trump like tweeted some shit that like was like you guys are I don't know what he said. I'm not
I,
gonna
I like
quote
to think it's the meme world. Like I think when people get embarrassed, you know what I mean. They tend to respond a little different when they're being laughed at the whole time. You know, we talked about WNBA with their little dildo thing now. Like, I
him.
think people respond when they get mocked. And I think that's really
Right,
probably what happened is these people thought it was a great idea in their bubble, and then all of a sudden outside their bubble, they were getting mocked,
right,
oh my God, English, Jim, mercilessly, and that's probably what changed their mind.
right. Whatever the case may be, I I may actually patronize him once again
Well,
because I love the nostalgia of going in there, the little old country store.
dude, you
Whatever,
find stuff in
it
there
is
that
what
you
it is.
can't find anywhere else. It's amazing, that store. Candy
Like
out the butt that you never even heard of. You're like, what?
right. Well, like I'm when I go in there again, I'm buying one of those pegboards because I don't know where my I used to have one as a kid. I want another pegboard. Those things are cool.
Yeah, I'm glad they
So
did a 180. And like you said, the BlackRock thing, I don't know how much influence that has, but I know we've talked about this
well,
episodes back where BlackRock, see, I mean, I don't think people understand like all of our funds and everything with our accounts all go into these big companies and they manage our money. So they use that as leverage, like it's their money because
yeah.
they know
Well,
we all
they're
can't just
they're
take it all out at once. They were trying to press the government before. I think it was in Trump's first term. They were trying to do that in his first term, trying to make companies bend to their whims about the climate and all this other stuff. I don't know, Bill Gates is with them and whatever,
right,
but you know that's what they were doing originally. That's what
right,
exposed the whole fact that they're holding the majority of everybody's retirement funds and then acting like it's their money.
right on.
Corporate America.
Charlie, what do you think of that? See, I called you Charlie because I'm
Charlie.
assuming your name. See,
I think you're spot on. And it's more than just corporate America that does that with holding the money. I want you to think about Social Security. I've got some friends that are veterans that their careers came to an end because of injuries they suffered in service. They got their disability, but they also claimed temporary disability through Social Security. Then they went and got not lucrative, but reasonable jobs in the civilian market. And my one friend just got a demand letter from Social Security that they overpaid him $30,000 worth of benefits for 1 year because he made too
how
much.
much?
They overpaid him by 30,000, and
Jesus.
they want it all back. So I was talking to my friend. I'm like, you got, because I kind of had the same thing happen to me. You got to get your congressman involved. But it's going back to what you were saying, Jimbo. It's not their money. It's his money. He
Right.
paid into the system. for 30, or actually
Right.
50 years old now, so at least 30 years. He paid into it. They overpaid him a little bit of a benefit. If anything, fine, you take it off on the other end. It's not their money to demand it back.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I don't know if Jay's told you, but I actually worked security at Social Security, not in the too far past there, and I got to witness a lot of this stuff. People coming in weren't even aware they were making too much money, weren't even aware that they had to come in and sign up for this, or it would automatically be this and that. Like, there's so many rules in there that I don't know how people keep up with them, but they're clearly not there for you. They're there for the system. I look at them the same way as an insurance company. Like, they don't want you to collect your money. They want you to wait till you're 70 years old and then die in 2 years and all that money goes back to the government. Like, that's what they want. They don't want you to actually collect the money you've been paying for years. Now, I'm not sure if the money you get actually equals what you paid. I don't know. I haven't done the math, and I'm not a mathematics
Right.
scholar anyway. But the point is, it is a benefit, it's an
It
entitlement.
doesn't.
It's not something like welfare that the other people are paying for. We
It
paid for that. That is
right.
our money.
The fact of the matter is that you're the you're we've been what we're all of us are like, believe it or not, we're all the same age within like 6 months, which is crazy and awesome. But we've all worked since we were 16 fucking years old.
Right.
You know goddamn well if we all the money we put into Social Security, if we put it in a high risk account right now, we would be making awesome money just on interest. And you know the government's doing that shit too. So it's fucking bullshit, but whatever. I was just thinking I was gonna start taking like estrogen and shit, and then
Oh, you want
becoming
to add to the
female.
feminization of America?
Well, I wanted to see. No, I'm just fucking around. I'm joking around. I just wanted to change topics to because we need to move on to because I this
CJ,
has been on.
Jace has this squirrel problem. I don't know where it comes from, but we could
Sush
be in the
your
middle of
mouth.
a subject and he'll just
I know.
squirrel.
No, because I'm so passionate about certain things, and I
You know
actually
what
have I
transitions?
I actually have a list today, and I'm proud of myself because I like did homework.
Well,
And
we got some time, Jace. We could slowly ease into them. We don't want to be
okay,
done with all of them
well we
in
need
the
to
first
ease
20
into this
minutes.
fucking this this has been but there's certain things that just are on my just I had the heart attack, so my
Well,
heart's a little more
but
it's
let
more
me
sensitive.
before we get off the Social Security
Before we get
thing
in,
and
all
the
right.
everybody spending
Before
our
we get
money
into the
thing.
fucking trans shooter, all right.
Yeah, everybody's spending money. I just wanted to reiterate because I know we've talked many times through this stuff, but see, the problem is this, and I can tell you from firsthand that we had very few employees working at the place that I was watching. I was subcontracted, so I'm not in there. But I can tell you for a fact there were two managers that were six-figure managers over 3 or 4 employees.
And
And
how many hours did they work a week?
oh, they were alternating actually. They worked from home 2 days a week, and the other one
Oh,
worked it. Yeah, it was really
how does
crazy.
that work?
It,
You're an armed guard at a social security office and you're working from home?
no, no, no,
That
no,
makes a
not
lot.
no. The managers. Okay, please try to
Yeah,
pay
but what are they
attention.
doing at home?
I don't know what they're doing, but my point is there were two.
Exactly.
This guy, I'm telling. There was two six-figure managers
I
in one small
know.
building when you only needed one, and yet
But the whole point
they
is
didn't
what
have
the
enough.
fuck are they doing to begin
They
with?
Do you need 6 figures to manage 3 people?
Right. But in regardless of this is what I was getting at originally is the problem is these people are in the system and they just do their time. They're nothing exceptional. They're not I mean literally most of the time they're just hanging signs on the door with like literally really. And I'm sitting here thinking you made 6 figures because you lasted in the system long enough. But the problem what I'm getting at is these people feel so entitled because they've been in the system so long that they made it to GS 14, 15, making six-figure salaries. They feel like they're entitled when they're no different than today's youth that have done nothing and want everything. It's a social thing. It's just our culture today. And the government has
Right.
allowed them to do that because everybody knows government was a golden ticket. When you get a government job, you get good pay,
But
great
do you
retirement,
remember?
you didn't have to work, you
Right.
couldn't get fired,
Yeah.
and that's all you did.
The thing
Bare
is
minimum.
though, at our age, do you remember when we were younger and we were trying or wanting to get a government job? That
Everybody,
it was
that's my
actually
point.
it wasn't easy to get at that time.
Right, because you got a coveted group of people that only want to let in who they want to let in. And if you're not in that crew, that group, you didn't get in. You had to fight and claw your way in,
Right.
and then the people wouldn't give it up, even though they're incompetent. That's why when the Doge came in, because that's when we talked about a lot of this. When they came in to clean that up, dude, thank God. There are so many incompetent people in the government. And I told the story, before that my buddy
Oh my God.
that used to be an MP got out, went to DOD. He was a DOD policeman, got relieved of duty, and then he got reassigned to the motor pool. I was doing IT at the time in a civilian environment, and I had to go to his motor pool. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, he told me the story. I was there to set up a DVD player on his computer because he had to send 2 emails and 2 phone calls every day, making $65,000.
That's
He
not
got
bad.
relieved of duty from his police job, and they just shifted him over there because that's why you get a government job, so you can have that luxury. But these people are
Right.
incompetent. They're incompetent.
Well, I got
Right
to
on. Right on.
much like yourself being an MP. I'm in civilian law enforcement. I'm actually a sworn officer, and one of the things I've noticed through my time in the civilian sector, and people are going to hate me for saying this, is the union protection. The union has allowed lazy people to not only get promoted just based off of seniority, like you were talking about, it's also allowed them to stay in the system and not be removed. Because if they get, and I've seen it in corporate America too, it's actually kind of sickening.
It's
Instead of firing someone and paying them the unemployment, they'd rather just shuffle them to a different position, put them in a peon spot, and keep them employed so they don't have to pay the unemployment. My other personal opinion too is unions have artificially inflated wages to the point that whatever product the person's making or manufacturing cannot sustain that wage. So, I mean, like you talked about with Doge, Doge was supposed to wipe some of this stuff out. And I do know for a fact that our current president has really kind of cracked the union's back in some fields and gotten rid of some of them where, you know, in New York here specifically, we have a thing called not competitive wage, but prevailing wage.
yeah.
If a government,
Prevalent.
yeah, so if the government's issuing a contract out, instead of getting a competitive bid for it, a lowest bidder type bid, no matter what, if it's a government contract, they have to pay the prevailing wage, which is based off the union wages. So instead of a road costing $1.2 million to repair and patch up and whatever, that same road now costs 3.8 million.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
far inflated, there's no way that wage should be paid for that work that's being done.
Right.
It's a fucking joke.
You
Well,
know,
it's because they're spending our money. It's easy to spend somebody else's money, especially
Well,
when you're getting a good chunk of it back.
you
and
know,
minimum wage is going up again this year. It's at 15.
is it really?
Yeah, it's at
Well,
15.
the thing is where he's at versus where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 1550, correct?
Yep, and in what 4 months, it's going up to 16.
Was
Hmm.
that it? I thought. Oh, I thought it was $20 by whatever.
Well,
Whatever the case may
in
be.
New York City, it's
Whatever.
over
Whatever.
20 now.
Well, when
Whatever the case
the
may be.
House of Cards collapses, they'll figure it out.
Well,
I
it's
don't
Unfortunately, we
know.
don't want to
Like,
be there.
ridiculous, between the unions artificially inflating wages, and now you've got the government in California and New York doing the same thing. I don't know about you guys, like you said, we're all the same age, but when we started in the workforce, McDonald's was not a career option. Burger
no, it was
It's for kids
just
and
to
old
make.
people. Yep,
King was
retirees and kids.
an entry level into the workforce, so you get some experience and your kids got some spending money. It was nowhere near designed for So when I was in the Army, I was on recruiting duty for 3 years in between a couple of my deployments. And I was talking to a kid at McDonald's, and this was in Ohio. And and the kid told me, I'm like, do you really want to sit here and flip burgers, or do you want to make some decent money, get some job training, jump out of planes, arrest people, all these other things? He goes, no, man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a grill technician. So what the hell is a grill technician?
Well,
That's a term they give it for burger flippers. That's how they're
I
justifying
don't.
16.50 an hour or 16 an hour now to flip burgers.
And you wonder why your
Well,
burgers are like $15 a piece.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw something on the 99-cent meal at McDonald's or
But
menu?
CJ, again, it goes back to people, and I'm really I'm a people person. I really like human behavior. It just goes back to people. All of this stuff goes back to some greedy, selfish people. And I think no matter what side you're on of any team here, most of us don't like that. Most people want fairness. They don't want to be, but they're just so blinded by what's really happening.
well,
And I mean, if you can see what happens behind the scenes, it might make you mad. But if you don't do anything about it, it just continues anyway. So the problem is, what do we do about things like this?
I don't. I think we need to be happy that Trump's in office, and I think shit's gonna change.
Hey, I
Because I
will
need to
say
talk.
this.
I need to talk. I need. No, like I- it's everything. It stems from all the shit you guys are talking about. But like, what annoys the fucking piss out of me when we're talking about. I mean, we're getting into workforce, and the fact that a, a kid right out of high school thinking that he can just jump up the ladder to a senior management without working his way the fuck up. You know what you're saying about McDonald's? I actually know a couple people that made a career out of McDonald's, but they started flipping burgers, and then they worked their way up to flipping fries or whatever, and then they worked their way up to a swing shift manager, and then they became a manager or like an assistant,
And that's
and then they
respectable.
became
That is respectable.
exactly. But these kids, there's a lot of people nowadays, and I'm not even going to say kids, but a lot of people nowadays, they don't respect that, and they don't realize that's the way fucking life works. Whether you're in the fucking military or you're out in the civilian world, you work your way up,
And
and
if
it's and then
if you don't
you
like
don't
the
want to
job, you
go.
don't like the pay, get another one. If you don't like that, start
Right.
your own business.
Well,
Well,
going back to us working for everything, I'm all for a person earning a reasonable wage and making a living, but you got to do the background work. Whether you join the military,
right.
you get an education. For people to be handed over almost $20 an hour now for an entry level job that was
Yeah,
never designed to be a career is ridiculous.
but I don't care. I don't give a fuck about if someone knows my age or not. But when I first started, I started out and my first job. Actually, I don't know. We'll just say my first job. I worked at a hospital in food service. It was like a student position. It was like three something an hour, and that was like, can you imagine that making $3 an hour,
I was I was a
busting your
lifeguard.
ass washing dishes and shit,
I was a
and,
lifeguard
and
at a resident camp up here, and then during the summers, and then off summer, I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I was the fucking mouse, making making 3.25 an hour.
Yeah,
yeah, and and
I got you all beat on my first job. I was serving coffee at a bingo hall. One order, I couldn't find the lady, I quit.
so yeah, so there's some
Didn't make
crazy
it down.
shit. But if you all want to take a break and talk about
Yeah, well, all right,
money.
Jace, this is a good segue. Go ahead, give us a. We'll go get
Well,
on
no,
there.
no,
This was
no.
good. This is a good segue. Go on.
Well, no, my phone's fucked up.
You want to transition to the next
I
topic?
don't. Well, either that, yeah, we can do that but I do want to go over the VA pay rate so that you can put that in.
Okay, you could do it at the end if you want.
All
We'll
right.
do it before we forget. So because we want to talk about this trans shooter thing,
Yeah,
this
I
mysterious
do, but I
pattern that we're
don't,
not allowed to
man.
talk about. Well,
I
what
do,
don't
but
you?
I don't, because it's it's transitioning to woke shit and whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Well, I
The
think
the
the thing I want to talk about is not necessarily all the stuff about it. It's the hypocrisy behind it again. I'm really getting tired of these people. Now, again, when I say these people, I mean like the media. Like, you can't tell me these people are dumb. They can't be dumb. They have to be evil. Like, they have to be evil. Jen Psaki, like, I don't know why she's even relevant anymore, but she literally cried crocodile tears like this was some traumatic thing that two kids got killed in church while praying to her. And then all of a sudden she's bashing, thoughts and prayers like she didn't say that when Scalise got shot at the soccer
right.
field that time. She said that exact thing. But then she's going into, you know, people are using this as a platform, this, that, and then the very next thing is, well, we need to do away with guns. Like, how do these people not see their hypocrisy? I'm not even taking a side in this specific moment, but how do you not see the hypocrisy? I, just own it. Say, okay, when you do it, it's wrong. When I do it, it's okay. Just admit that you're doing it.
Well, yeah, I agree,
Okay,
but
so being a federal law enforcement officer myself, I would be amiss to not point this out: the hypocrisy and how the woke culture has even worked its way into school shootings and stuff. Back 10 to 15 years ago, people who transitioned or were gender confused or whatever was actually diagnosed as a mental health disorder.
Gender dysphoria.
right,
Yeah. So it was the DSM, I think it was the Diagnostic Statistical Manual 3 or 2, actually classified that as a mental health disorder. If we would have still maintained those standards instead of accepting it, like this gender person that shot up everything.
accepting it, fucking, they're pushing it too, though.
Dude, well, think about this, CJ. Jace, the people who had gender dysphoria now grew up and had kids.
Right, and they're just passing it on. But the point I was trying to make about the woke culture, even going into this now, is if we would have still maintained that standard by the DSM two, where it was a mental health disorder, that would have triggered the background check, and that person should have never had a firearm. But
Right,
because this is not a mental health issue anymore, it's a person's right to transition. And if you don't want your tree trunk to get it cut off and turn it into an inverted taco or whatever it is now, um, it, they have a full
I'm
access to the firearms now, just like anyone else would, instead of being
so
categorized as a mental health disorder.
so I'm not even though I brought the subject up, which is ignorant for me not to be educated on it. But how did they disclose like how this mental case got the guns?
Yeah,
Because I mean they
definitely
they
didn't trigger.
expunged
He didn't
what's
trigger
that?
it. Like if he got the guns legit, he bought it at a store. Because the DSM has changed for mental health diagnosis, this would
Right.
be a triggering event for it. The fact that he
Yeah,
found
but did they
not a trigger.
did did he get the guns on his own or did he get them from his parents or that's all I was wondering.
I actually
I
don't
don't,
know.
Yeah, I didn't see that
yeah.
either. And to be honest with you, if this was all happening in his parents' house, there's serious problems with his
That's why
parents.
I'm questioning.
Yeah, if this was
That's
happening in
yeah.
it, like even like I said, I have or no, I allegedly might have some guns that may be accessible to my kids. I tell you, but they wouldn't touch them. I know what my kids are doing. I know what they're involved in. There's no way this could happen in my house. And if it does ever one day, then I guess I'll go to jail for him because I'd be a fool. But the
Right.
problem with all this is, again, it's not about the guns. I mean, the conversation doesn't even
Oh, I
need to
know,
be about
I
the
know, I
guns.
know.
I don't know why we keep entertaining these fools because this has nothing to do with guns. And I watched a guy today, a good Christian guy. He brought up a valid point. He said before gunpowder was invented, we were told to not kill. How were people killing each other back then? They didn't have guns.
Sticks and stones,
So the
baby.
problem has never been about guns. A weapon is a weapon. And these
Right,
morons, and
right,
I
right,
hate I
right,
hate calling them names,
right,
but these morons
right.
you cannot tell me that they don't realize if you take away all the guns, we have other weapons, maybe bigger weapons that can do more damage to people that will
Right.
just push people in that direction. Like,
Right.
because if you're evil and intent on killing, you're going to kill. So at least arm the people to protect
Right.
themselves, and then maybe we can, slowly get
Well,
rid of all these evil people.
I just looked up real quick online too. He did purchase those firearms legally
oh wow.
Before his transition, or no?
during the transition. He like not too long ago. He just bought them.
So wouldn't you think that would have flagged you if you've changed your name, even if you did it legally, it would slow down the process or something? Because that,
I
the
don't think
government
so.
system is.
I don't think so.
The-
I put it this way: him transitioning did not trigger anything. I can guarantee that.
Hmm.
right. The
Because
thing is
that would have been a lawsuit. The ACLU would have jumped all over it, saying you're discriminating based off a person's race, creed, or sexual orientation. That
Well,
would
even from the aspect of incompetence, not necessarily, say, hey, we can't give you one, just the incompetence. Because I saw it Social Security, people get married, and it caused all kinds of confusion in Social Security because you got to make sure you change your name, go back to this, that. So just the level of incompetence, I think, would have slowed these purchases down.
whatever whatever the case may be, you I don't know if I should divulge this or not, but I think you guys have said some stuff. You all have I don't have a kid in school anymore, so you guys do. Do you feel as though you're on top of your child's mental psyche enough to know your kid wouldn't do something like that?
absolutely, and not only that, I've taken it a step further because I have firearms. I also keep mine under lock and key, and the kids do not have access to the keys. So
Right, exact, right.
if you're going to be a firearms owner, and it's different if your kid breaks into the lock or whatever and gets a gun and uses it. But if you just leave your guns out willy nilly and you don't take proper procedures to
No,
protect,
I get it. I
you
get it.
criminally charged
I'm just
a kid.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
and it's
like,
accountability. At least own it. If you're not going to
right.
do it, like I said, own it. If
I
my
don't
kids
have
get a hold of mine and I didn't lock them up, I got to own
I
that.
agree.
exactly.
It's your
No,
ass.
I don't have a kid in school anymore, and I don't know why I'm saying school age, but I've always been responsible enough to keep my firearms locked up, but also kept my kid in check enough to know their mental psyche as well.
Well, and I was just going to say that, Jace, too, because here's the problem. We all know that anyone is capable of snapping at any time. So I don't care how many
Exactly.
background checks you
Right.
do, how many anything you do. People could literally use
Right.
their
Right.
vehicles.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
could decide one day that you want to not run into a wall, but no, you want to run through a parade of kids, which has happened, right?
No, I know.
So what do? We ban cars now? Like, I mean, I just don't understand the logic behind it because there
Oh,
really is no logic. And
well,
here's the
yeah.
part that
Why?
really pisses me off because every day in my face, I'm hearing these mentally ill people talk about how a certain person is a tyrant, but yet they
Well,
are the ones trying to take away the guns. They are.
well,
I don't
I had
understand that.
I had you and I had we had a discussion off camera, but I wanted to bring it
I
up
don't
as
talk to you
well.
off camera. No way.
No, well, no, you don't, but you satisfy me.
Oh, whatever that takes. All 30
but
seconds of it.
my 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 pool buddy
Oh,
down
pool
south,
boy. Pool
my
boy.
pool buddy, he works at Boeing. And when I first had moved there down Charleston, he he's a retired pilot from the military, blah blah blah. Long story short, he's like, be careful flying in Boeing jets because they have a lot of fucking mental health. They have a lot of transgender and fucking just people that they're mentally not they're just not unstable people. And do you really want to trust those fuckers building your fucking plane and flying in that shit? And lo and behold, look what's going on right now, man.
Well, and you brought up Jimbo. You brought up a good point about guns don't kill people. People kill people. Guns just the tool. And I've always been a big proponent of Second Amendment rights. Um, and I just looked on MSNBC, as of November 1st, 2025, 4, excuse me, there's more than 24,000 laws on the books right now regulating firearms,
Mhm.
dating back to the National Security Firearms of 1934. If we've got
Wow.
24,000 different pieces of legislation regulating firearms and we're still having school shooters, maybe we shouldn't be looking at regulating the firearms, but we should be looking at regulating the people getting the firearms.
And again, you remember going back to days when we were younger, kids would bring shotguns in the back of their pickup trucks. Well, maybe not in New York or whatever, but they'd bring
Oh yeah,
shotguns
they
in the
did
back
where
of their
I live.
pickup trucks, and we never had these problems.
No,
What has changed? The guns haven't changed. The people have.
Not
changed.
not one shotgun, but usually two, and they're hung in a gun rack in the back window of the fucking truck, man.
Yeah,
Which,
it's
by the way,
disingenuous.
we're up in New York, me and
We're in Western New York.
Western New York, where it's kind of red. It's a red state, red part of the state.
Well, most of the outside cities, every state is red.
I had
So
some
yeah,
coming up from Alabama, and they were coming to this like church retreat I went to, and I'm looking at their pickup trucks, and every one of them had shotguns in the window. And I had to stop, and I'm like, guys, you need to get those out of your window. What do you mean? I'm like, I'm a cop. That's a felony in New York. You can't
Right.
transport like that.
really?
Yeah, that's a felony.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Not
got
only
unloaded or
that-
That's
something,
not
put it in your
legal
trunk.
anymore.
No, not only is
I didn't
that,
know that.
it's someone like me who I'm like going to give them the benefit of the doubt, like get that shit out of your window, versus
Yeah.
say a state trooper who's a little bit more high strung would have instantly arrested the lot of them. Going back to that,
Fortunately,
they all had concealed weapons too, and they didn't think nothing of that. I'm like, by the way, we're not a reciprocal state. Your CCW isn't good.
right
You're carrying a concealed
in
weapon.
New York's
Also a felony now.
Yeah, you
New
understand.
York's a shit.
I've disclosed this too. I grew up in Jersey and I've moved back several times, and I don't think people understood. Every time I moved back there, I was committing a felony,
Yeah.
unknowingly.
Really?
So yeah, yep,
And unfortunately, the courts have continually ruled ignorance of the law is not a defense.
right.
No, it's not. Fortunately for me, I'm going back down to South Carolina where the Second Amendment is the second motherfucking amendment. So
Gunslinger.
fuck all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, good for you.
I committed when I retired from the military in 2015. I committed multiple felonies, and I had no clue. And I didn't even have any. I only had 2 rifles at the time.
Right.
I was talking to my friend who's a sheriff. He goes, "Yeah, man, these are felonies." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Wow.
It's a shotgun and a rifle. No, those M16 mags you got in there, that violates the Safe Act.
Really?
Yeah, because those are
Damn.
30-round magazines, and I had literally a whole tack box full of them. I was
Wow.
over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
For magazines.
Yeah, and we don't have nearly the crime problem that they have up in those states.
Yeah. So there's other things that I wanted to talk about.
Hey, can we
You guys ready or
do
not?
a sidebar real quick, Joe?
You want? Huh?
I wanted to do a sidebar. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on something.
Come on, bring it on, brother. That's why you're here.
For you too, Jimbo. The federalization of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Trump has now already spouted. Our president said as soon as they get done cleaning up D.C., he's sending them to Chicago and New York City.
I was going to bring that up anyways, but let's just let me say this and then we'll go to that. The fucking mayor, the Democrat mayor of DC is actually commending Trump for doing this, and I'm amazed at the fact that he's it's knocked down crime like over 50% already, and she's like
Some crimes
for
are
a
80%.
Democrat to just give Trump props for doing that after they were fucking pissed off that he did it. It's awesome. But
Jimbo, what's your opinion on it?
Well, yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say 2 things I want to say about this. Number one, before my opinion on the actual act, this just shows you how stupid these people are. If I was the mayor of New York City or the mayor of Chicago and you came in, I don't care if they were all dressed in clown outfits and you brought the crime down in my city.
Exactly.
I'd say, hey, my crime is the lowest. Why wouldn't you take that? Why would you not take
Because it's why is it that they seem like they want crime to be high though?
They
I don't
don't.
get it.
They're anti-Trump, and that's their only move. So, but then as far as what Trump is doing, I don't mind augmenting. I don't think we need to federalize and start marching into cities and fixing them.
Right.
Because in the end,
Well,
it's the people that vote for these morons that have to prove that they want the change. In other words, just like when I look at foreign wars. Now, I
right.
know we can stick up for the underdog and people that can't help themselves,
Yeah.
right? But in the end,
Yeah.
if someone were to attack our country, how many people would grab their guns and defend it? Most of us, I would think. We don't need France coming over here. Hey, we'll help you defend. So if we don't want it bad enough, then why should anybody help us?
Right.
And that's the way I look at it. So if the people in Chicago don't want to clean their city bad enough, then why the hell do I got to go and help them? So in the end, I don't
I
think we should spend taxpayer dollars to do it. I think we should offer if the city wants it.
I have mixed feelings about it, but yeah, I also agree with you. I I wanted to just because it's so crazy, and I have kept a little storyline along the way. I talked to my friend from Charleston, and remember she's married to an illegal, and I called her. We talked. I said something about an illegal, and she freaked out on me. That is disgusting and disrespectful and blah blah blah. And because she's one of my best friends, I value her friendship, so I don't want to get into it. But that was one of my dilemmas this week, and I just it blew my mind that she's so fucking brainwashed liberal right now and doesn't realize that when you cross the border and you don't cross it at a border crossing, that is fucking illegal. How and I think that I'm just saying this because I wondered what you guys' opinions were. How does one not understand that unless you go through a border crossing, it's fucking illegal. Whether you're trying to claim asylum or not, it's fucking illegal.
Well, I think
And I don't get it.
there's processes in place for that. I think the processes need to be one streamlined and make it a little bit more effective and less cumbersome. Number two, going back to our generation, if you remember, before we all probably joined West Berlin, East Berlin.
Yeah.
There.
If you cross, and to this day, North Korea, South Korea, been there.
Yes.
Just for the record, I watched them pull Checkpoint Charlie out. I was stationed there.
If you
Really?
back
Yeah.
in the day,
Nice.
correct me if I'm wrong, Jimbo, if you were trying to get out of there and you crossed illegally, your ass is getting mowed down by a machine gun.
Oh,
You're gonna get
I
shot,
wasn't
right?
there when it was active. I was there when they were shutting it down. Just to be clear.
But am I right?
Oh yeah.
North Korea right now, number one, it's
See.
landmine to hell.
Hmm.
So if you're coming across or trying to escape or whatever it is, granted it's them trying to keep their people in, but if they catch you going across that border legally,
I've seen the border in Korea.
Yeah.
I've seen the border in Korea.
on the DMZ. And I can guarantee, you're looking across at your shadow, which is the North Korean counterpart, and someone comes across that DMZ improperly, you're getting shot. It's an act of war.
Exactly.
Anywhere else in the
Exactly.
world, it's an act of war if you do that. Now,
And it's just
I don't believe the ones coming across the Mexican border are completely drug runners and insane asylum people.
no. I mean, my friend,
Go
my
ahead.
friend is married to an illegal, and but she gets mad about shit, and it's like you married an illegal, own it, and deal with it.
Well, here's the thing.
You're not. At least you're not.
If she married him, then he's got a pathway to citizenship.
No. So he skipped his court. They caught him, right? They caught him sneaking in,
Okay.
and they gave him a court date. He skipped the court date and didn't go to it.
By the way, you
So
still
his choice is to go back for 5 years or get deported and never come back. And
That's the goes
she's
on
just
Paul Penn. He had a legal pathway to citizenship that would have been streamlined by virtue of being married to an American. He
Well,
didn't
no,
follow the right
it's
process.
accountability, right? It's accountability and consequences. And I think here's where the challenge comes in, where I try to, I try to kind of feel for the other side, for the other opinion, because I think CJ, especially since you're doing law enforcement now, like there's discretion for a reason, because there's the letter of the law and the intent of the law, right? So laws are created for a reason, for something to stop happening or something to start happening. Like
right.
that's why
Well,
laws are created. So when you break the law, I mean, it's the law. So if you believe that the law shouldn't be a law, you change the law, but
Right.
it's still the law. Now, if you
right.
have the discretion to say, hey, this person didn't understand the law, they don't know the law, you have levels of consequences, but there has to be
Yeah.
a
Well,
consequence.
guess what? Any of these motherfuckers that tried to cross know the fucking law. They know the consequences, but they fucking crossed when Biden was fucking president,
Well,
and they
even
knew they could get
CJ
it.
said that the ignorance is not excuse from the law, like that's
I
common too.
I know, but
So,
but I mean,
well,
there's lines.
anybody coming in here illegally has to know, because they can't just walk across the border, because there's coyotes and everybody out there. That border is
Right,
run by the
right,
Mexican mobs.
right.
It's not
Well,
it's not an open, you don't just get lost at Albuquerque and, oh, look, here we are at the border. That doesn't happen.
So my
he
last
supposedly
police
paid.
station before I retired was El Paso. I was at Fort Bliss, which is 1 mile from the Juarez border.
I
And I
saw a man get shot in Juarez.
oh yeah,
I saw he crossed the border. We was right there. I was with four of my friends, right there in front of me. He got shot. I pushed my friends in the club because I was the only sober one. Freaked me out.
you can to this day you can still hear the gunfire in Juarez as the cartel is slugging it out for control of it. But there is
Right,
signs on both sides of the border in English and in Mexican saying it's illegal to cross. So you're absolutely right. They know what they're doing. And to the point where I lived on the base was literally 1 mile from the border and I could see it. I actually watched a forklift come up to the fence at the base with a pallet loaded with 30 people, loaded the pallet, and dumped them onto the American side.
Wow.
You can't tell me
jeez.
none of those people knew that was illegal what they were doing.
Yeah,
Oh, by the
exactly.
way, I called the border patrol. It took them 2 hours to get there. When everyone was gone
Oh,
by the time the border patrol rolled up, got out of their trucks, looked around, jumped in the trucks, and left.
yeah. Did you ever go to Yuma?
No,
How far?
I was at Fort
How
Bliss,
far is Yuma from?
Yuma, Arizona. I don't know. Right
I
across
don't know.
right across the border
I
from
just,
Mexico was Whitestone, though.
I just saw a movie called 310 of Yuma. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
I would
don't,
like to bring up the fact that even the conservatives have no excuse for this. Even us,
I
we're sitting here talking about, the border and border security. The king of the conservatives in our time would have been Ronald Reagan. And I believe
right,
it was in 86 or 87, maybe 88. Ronald Reagan actually gave blanket amnesty to every illegal in the United States and made them American citizens.
oh wow.
So
So
the king of conservatives I thought was a genius move because by making them all American citizens, one, we figured out who was in the country, and two, they had to start paying taxes.
right. My biggest thing though is like I just it's she's one of my best friends down there, and she's just so fucking brainwashed. It's just disgusting. And then she's got the compound problem that she had to marry an illegal for some fucking reason, and
I'm gonna,
can't admit and I'll give her credit. He's from I don't fucking know, from one of them H countries on the
Honduras.
yeah, that's where he's from.
I'm gonna, I'm
But
gonna,
they bought
I'm gonna regale
they,
you guys with a story that I was recently involved in, and it deals with immigration in my law enforcement job. If you remember, for a while, the Eagle Pass, where the governor of Texas secured the border because the federal government wasn't doing it.
yeah,
Well, Governor Abbott, I think it was, yeah, it's Governor Abbott, took it a step farther. He contracted with private companies to put them on buses and send them to New York City, Chicago, and San Francisco, sanctuary states.
Right. Right.
Um, Louisiana, might have been New Orleans or something. I can't remember. So I was involved in an investigation with this because the contract companies got smart. Instead of loading the bus up and got paid a dollar, whatever the dollar amount was per head to drive them from here, from Texas to New York, they literally went over, one or two states, L.A. or Alabama, and pushed everyone out the fucking bus, turned around, and went and got another load.
Oh yeah. Yes. I remember that.
I think because I did tell you about that. You remember? I think I told you.
But you see, that goes back to our point, CJ, and that's why I always harp on the social aspect of this. We are human beings. We're all sinners, and when like you got a bunch of politicians screaming about, oh, it's rigged, it's fixed, or then they say, oh, that was a perfect election, there was nothing wrong. We all know that everyone in any competition, people are cheating. Anytime money's to be made, people are trying to figure out the best way to get more money. Like this is human nature. You know what I mean? The thing that separates one from the other is the integrity. People still, even if we all in here have the utmost integrity, we're still going to try to pay as little taxes as we have to, right? We're not going to be like, oh, well, I guess we'll just trust them and here's all the tax money I got. We're going to try to do something. And I'm even probably going to go on a limb and say, and even the most integral of us still probably cheated on something, even if it was a putt-putt game against your girlfriend because you didn't want to be embarrassed or, your whatever.
Yeah.
So at the
You're
end of
right.
the day, this is human nature. Why would you not
Right.
assume that people of the utmost power and wealth aren't doing this daily? They are.
Well, of course.
There are very
Of
few
course.
people with power
Well,
and money will ever do ethically the right thing because they may lose that power and money and they'll never be okay with that. Most people
the
who go
shit
from rich to bankrupt don't do it by choice.
the shit that blows my mind, and this is more just military, is that and I know there's sayings for it, but like when I was in, we were paying. We would go through a lot of like tools and shit, and we were paying like $50 for a fucking hammer and shit.
Damn
And
near hammer.
I remember people getting pissed off, and they just throw it. They just throw a hammer out in the water. Oops, I dropped it. Oh, we got to pay another $50 for a hammer. I mean, like,
That's
are
the
you
corruption,
serious?
dude. That's the
We
corruption.
go to Harbor Freight. We go to Harbor Freight and buy one for fucking what?
Dude,
$5 or something.
Jace, I explained this before, and I know this firsthand. I promise you, the company that I worked for, I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to throw them under the bus,
Yeah.
even though you figured out, was a
I
subcontracted company for a
yeah,
bigger subcontracted company. Now, let me tell you,
right.
the one I worked for was like $1.2 billion company. They were owned
Yeah.
by a bigger company. So what these people do is the government
Jesus.
says, hey, we need to man every government building facility and we need to do security. So they'll say,
Right.
hey, we got a department for that. Oh, we don't have enough
Yeah.
people. You need to subcontract it. So they create this contract for, say, $20 million just for simplicity.
Right.
Oh, here's this
Right.
$20 million. Does anybody know who's on the bidding list that does this? Ask your politicians and their families and friends. Oh, yeah, my
Right.
uncle does it. Yeah, my brother does it. Oh, wait, I have one. So they decide who's going to get the contract. They get $20
Right.
million. They put 19
Right.
in their pocket, and they take $1 million and say, hey, go provide security. And that's how
Right.
they do this. And it's no different
Well,
with the hammers and things like that. Everybody's
I
getting a
know.
cut
I
on the
know.
top. Everybody's getting a cut.
And what's funny about it is CJ and I actually knew a guy that was a veteran that started a security company, and he could be doing the same shit, but he's just I don't think he's bright enough.
No, he's not bright enough. I know who you're talking about.
Well, and even if he intends, like, I don't think all politicians go into politics bad.
Right.
I don't think all government employees go into government bad.
Don't
They
I
just
don't
come
think
out
don't
bad.
it's just the system
don't
makes the
yeah.
money. Here's
I
my
know.
example
I
of it.
get it.
Here's
I get it.
here's my example of it. I don't think CJ, I've told you this, but I've told many people this. It's like an armored car tipping over, in the middle of traffic, money blowing everywhere. How many people are going to get out of their car, put it back in the truck?
No,
Oh, I'm sick of this
None,
story.
right? Even though people have integrity, they might not take it,
Mhm.
but they're
Well,
definitely,
if it's
you know.
$100 bills, man, God, yeah, you know that nobody's gonna
So,
buck.
so you see, Jace here's got, boundaries on that, right? He's got, oh, hey, well,
No,
if it's this,
dude,
that.
I can tell you straight up, even though I'm straight, if I had the security company and you had you were a politician that could hire me to make me some money and I could give you a kickback,
Yeah, you do it
I'd
on your
do it
own,
on a
right?
fucking
Yeah, that's my
heartbeat.
point. So again, that's not integrity. But what I'm
It's
getting at,
not.
so if people were to take this money, right? They know it's not their money. They
I
know it
know.
belongs to someone else. It came out of that truck, but they take the money. That's the government. The
Yeah,
government
and
is using money that belongs to other people, and they all, once
yeah.
they find out, oh, you mean we could take extra money? Oh, hey, we can get this money, and nobody knows where it goes from
Or we
or
could
where it comes
lie
from.
and say
That's the government,
Sesame Street, 20 million. Okay,
right?
cool.
I mean, come on,
Right.
this stuff's been going on since after the Civil War when carpetbaggers
I
were going in the South.
Yeah.
Same damn thing.
Dude, I think cavemen were doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, gentlemen, I have to go. I've got to get up early for duty, but
Yeah, we're
take care.
tired too, man.
hey, will you let us close this before you get off? Because we're going to close it anyway because it's getting late. And Jace, I
It's
don't know if you want to just throw
much
some
so.
quick numbers out because you did
Nope.
promise to give them some cold increase.
I'll do it next week.
All right, we'll do it next week then.
I
All right, so
promise.
we're going to close this up. CJ, thanks for joining us. Jace, as usual, I'm here, so I guess I got to be here. But thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Chris, sorry, Johnny, appreciate you always. And until next time, Godspeed.
Pull the pin.
Pull the pin already.
All right, brothers.
Boom. Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next